So I don't know. All right, good morning. It's Thanksgiving Day, 2025. In the shop, still working on my 86-600. I have yet to be able to get this thing to run right, or actually start. I can get it to fire, but I can't get the injector to pulse. So, not that I ever thought I knew a lot about these, but I figured I could handle it. I've yet to figure out why the injector is not pulsing. I might have figured it out. So I learned the other day, a few weeks ago now at this point I suppose, I was on the dodgegarage.com, and the throttle position sensor, if it's the wrong one, like say if it's out of a turbo car or any of the V8s, they use the same throttle position sensor. Essentially it looks the same as the regular 4-cylinder throttle body injected ones, except they're clocked backwards to each other. So if the wrong one is in there, it'll assume it's wide open throttle and it won't turn the injector on, thinking it needs to clean out the fuel. Or if the throttle position sensor is just straight out not working at all, throwing any really bad information, the same thing will happen. So I got a new throttle position sensor. Actually got a few of them, because I've learned over the last year or so that suddenly all of this stuff that used to be relatively easy to find is just about impossible to find. So if I need one, I buy 2 or 3 because I might need it again someday in the future. Anyway, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm just going to plug another throttle position sensor in and see if it fires. And come hell or high water, I'm going to figure out why. If that doesn't do it, I'm going to figure out why today it's not working. Either because I've got bad parts somewhere, bad wires, or the other possibility is that the actual ECM is bad, because I replaced the power module, which is the one behind the battery. Nothing changed. So either I got another bad power module, or there's nothing wrong with it. Its problem lies somewhere else. I'm gonna try that first and see how it goes. In throttle position sensor. It didn't work. It didn't turn on the injector. I didn't put it into the throttle body itself, obviously, as you can see. So that's not my problem. So now I'm going to start testing wires, testing voltages and all that other stuff, and see if I can figure out where the stinking problem actually lies. So I did have to repair these wires going to the throttle position sensor, because the mouse had chewed them off. And those are the only ones underneath the hood that I saw that were damaged, and I've looked over all of them. So other than there was one, well, it wasn't that damaged. It wasn't cut, but it was, the sheathing was bad over there. But that has nothing to do with this part here. Anyway, all right, now I'm gonna start doing some testing. All right, I'm just about at my wit's end here. I'm about as deep in the rabbit hole as I can get. Almost a little deeper to go. So tested my wires, my voltages on the throttle position sensor, they're okay. Tested continuity on those back to the logic module, the fuel injector, logic module to the the power module, excuse me, that's the power module, to the logic module, back and forth. Every wire, every connection, every ground is good that has anything to do with these systems. I did find a bad wire going to the speed sensor or distance sensor, depending on when you are or where you are, want to call it. That has nothing to do with it, but I fixed it anyway, and I just plugged in the other one for now, thinking maybe if it's not getting a signal, it doesn't know what to do, but that really only affects idle coming off a throttle. But anyway, so I got my scanner out, and I got this plugged in, and it's thinking, I guess, and that's the next trick to do what they call the actuator test. It says unable to establish connection. Well, I'm going to clean up my connection, see what it says there. I don't know if it'll show up in the camera very well, but unable to establish a connection. That might mean my computer's bad, which is kind of what I'm leaning to. If the computer doesn't know what's going on, then it can't tell because I did check. There's 2 other wires in the logic module I forgot to mention here. One of them was the signal from the distributor. It's getting that. Then there's the injector feed, which then goes from there over to the power module, and the power module then, of course, runs the actual injector. That was just at a constant voltage. That didn't change as I was cranking on it, which I would have thought it should have, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards, really leaning towards, is that computer is bad. Well, if you're ever curious what the inside of a logic module on an 86 Dodge looks like, here it is. I'm pretty sure that this is my problem, but I don't see any. Finally, it runs. I've never felt more stupid and yet more proud of myself at the same time. So after, what, 6 months of this thing I couldn't get it to fire, couldn't get it, I've bought diagnostic tools, I changed computers, and da-da-da-da, like on and on and on, this list goes on. I could never get the thing to fire. I always thought it was the fuel injector, because the fuel injector, I mean, I could dump gas down the throttle body or starting fluid and it would run off that. All right, cool. Well, what it turned out to be, and this is, like I say, this makes me, I feel so dumb. Return line, supply line. And they're different sizes, so somehow I got these two nipples when I rebuilt the throttle body. I got those in the wrong spot. And I had taken pictures, so somehow, or I left pieces of hose on so I knew which one went where. Either way, somehow I screwed that up. And then I got a noid light so I could see if I was getting signal to my injector. Yes, I was, because I checked every stinking wire on this car. Still doesn't explain why the code reader won't talk to the machine, but that's a issue for another day. But I just want to make sure the damn thing runs. Had it running for a good 30 seconds or better. It doesn't run right because I still have other things kind of unplugged. Like the map sensor isn't hooked up right, so it doesn't know what to think there. And I'm sure the timing is way off, even though it should be really close. Anyway, but I got these two flipped around, started it up, and it actually ran. Like I say, I got the noid light, fuel injector was working, I could feel it working, all that stuff. It would just never fire right. Well, I figured that out because I was watching it, and the injector was pulsing, but no fuel was coming out. Well, I had checked earlier, a week or two ago, and it had fantastic fuel pressure, so I knew that wasn't the problem. And I don't know if I screwed up the fuel pressure regulator by pushing it backwards, since I had it hooked up backwards. But I'm gonna get I'm gonna get the computers inside the car, put the original one back in, hook everything up the way it's supposed to be. Same thing with under here. Get rid of my temporary fuel injector wire, and then try again. And just like I said, I'm happy. I'm happy. I made progress. I figured out how I screwed up. Now I just need to figure out how to unscrew it. If I screwed anything else up, that is. It's alive. It's actually alive and running. I don't have a radiator cap on. I got to put more antifreeze in there, but it's alive. It's running. There were multiple little issues that were causing problems. Another thing, once I figured out my fuel line problem, the throttle position sensor was wrong also, or bad, I should say. So I was multiple things why it didn't work, but I finally got it. I better put my radiator cap on in here pretty quick. All right, it's outside running. I'll let it run for a while, let it warm up, and actually fully warm up anyway. And most of the shop is aired out. I had been fighting with it, ran for a couple minutes, then stopped, and then my initial timing set was far enough off where it did not want to start very nice, and I had to screw with that a little bit too, along with a few other things. Anyway, and now I get to deal with all the little problems that are showing up, like this right here. The tranny cooler hose running from the transmission up to the top of the radiator has a tiny little pinhole leak in it, right where it bends. So I suppose when it got crunched by that deer. Must have pinched it. So, you know, so it's dripping out there. Well, it's dripping in here, obviously. It's dripping outside. So I have to deal with that. After I fix my water pump housing, I noticed that's seeping a little bit, so I'm just gonna throw some stop leak in. That's why the radiator cap was off. I was hoping to, I had my stop leak, it was sitting in the other car and it froze, which I guess is weird, but it makes sense. So anyway, successful day. I'm super happy. You can see I backed it out of the shop, no brakes at all whatsoever, because I don't have pads in the front yet. I haven't bled anything, so it's movable on its own, which is awesome, because I need to get access to this spot here in the shop. I got some other stuff I need to do to Mom's car and whatnot. So, but this has been frustrating. It has taught me a lot. I mean, it truly is. I will say, I think I've said it before in one of the other videos, or earlier in this video, maybe, whatever. I don't remember how I edited everything, but this was divine intervention, because there were some other problems that had this thing started to run right away would have made things way worse, like the transmission, because your old radiator, training cooler in the radiator leaked all the water into the transmission. There's still some water in the transmission, in the fluid, but it is divine intervention. It has been a blessing. As cursed as it has felt, it has been a blessing. I've learned a lot about those cars, a little more patience, which everybody can probably have a little more patience, and patience just because I don't know enough about these things yet. And it's fuel injection, turn the key and starts. That's, I thought, the way they were supposed to work. Well, how when you do that much to them? Anyway, so, but I've got the roof painted. That also was a challenge, because, and I think there's a little video of me ranting about PPG's color and why they got rid of that particular shade of blue, the formula for it. I don't know, but I did find the right color. Roof is painted. I don't think I'm going to get anything else done paint-wise, body-wise, for quite a while. But finally, everything is lining up to the point where it's good. Everything is working the way it's supposed to, the way it should have worked. I don't know, like 6, 7, 9 months ago, I suppose. I forget what it was when I first thought I was going to fire that engine. But anyway, happy day.